It was all about Helen tonight on this episode of Being Mary Jane. Stay tuned on Black Hollywood Live. Okay, Helen, yeah, this is Demi Lovato, Sorry Not Sorry, because Helen was sorry, but not really sorry until the end. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of Being Mary Jane on Black Hollywood Live. My name is Tsahai, and you can find me on social media at Say Hi Tsahai. That's SayHiTsahai. And I have my lovely Sarah next to me.
Hey, Sarah Lyons back here. You can find me on Twitter at Sarah Lioness with a Y.
And hey y'all, it's your girl Porchia Carter, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Porchia Carter.
And my name's Raquel Harris. You can find me on all social media at Raquel Harris TV.
So we start with Helen and Paul. They're supposed to go to New York. Helen ain't home. Paul ain't packed. We don't even know if it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we get into it and see that Paul is still very much upset. MJ doesn't even know what's going on, and the family is just in disarray. So at the beginning of the episode, did you guys think that they'd be able to work everything out, or did
Not
you think...
with Frank playing them games on the phone again?
Still calling.
Right?
I was just like, okay.
I said, oh no, you gonna piss Paul off. Don't play with him.
And even it showed it started like he's been doing it for years.
This behavior is a pattern, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that as I was watching it, I was like, okay, these people, we're just finding out this information. Patrick's just finding out this information. MJ's just finding out this information. But for Frank, Helen, and Paul, they've known this for 40-something years.
Well, Frank just found out Patrick was his.
Right.
Yeah. I just think it's weird that Helen could keep that secret. I mean, and Paul too could keep that secret for so long. Yeah, I don't see how, because I mean, like I said in the last episode, I just don't understand how you wouldn't feel obligated to let your kids and your, let everybody know what's going on. Who your father is.
Yeah.
I mean, but you see, kids who are adopted, their parents don't let them know for years. So that's what I related it to.
But see, even
I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah, but I feel like even an adopted child one day is going to seek to find out who their biological parents
they're told,
are.
Though.
Right. But I mean, do you think that kids, I mean, I guess unless they're at the age where they're knowledgeable about, unless besides them being an infant and being adopted, but at the 8 years old, then they obviously know these aren't my real parents.
Right.
But I think that's something you can feel.
Right.
If you feel like it's something about it, obviously you love your parents, they're good to you and everything, but if you feel out of place, even Patrick was saying that just felt off, and it would have been nice to know.
I know. And then what I found interesting was how Patrick and Frank bonded. I thought that was really nice, and to see them together like that, and see that Patrick was like, hey, it would have been nice to have somebody in my life that was able to understand what I was going through.
Yeah, I think Patrick probably felt like I have no other choice but to make amends with my dad. I mean, this is my father, so I might as well try to have some type of relationship with him.
Yeah. Right.
So.
And also, it wasn't his fault. Helen didn't tell him.
Right. So he can't be really mad at
Frank.
Yeah.
I was happy to see that Patrick didn't fall off the wagon, though. That's what I was really concerned about. So
he just really going to the meetings, getting his counseling, letting his voice be heard, letting all his fellow addicts, talk some sense into him, because everybody, it's a community. We got to work together. And he's staying level-headed. I love that about Patrick.
Yeah. It was nice to see him, stay on track. Because he has been socially active, and he kind of created a whole new lifestyle for himself. But to hear that his father had been sober, 20 years, and Patrick had only been sober 1 year, that was really, it really put time in perspective and how people things can change over a period of time. Right.
Yeah.
So we also had Orlando and Kara. So Kara has been producing everybody in this episode. She had to produce Orlando. She had to produce Helen and Paul. She had to produce MJ.
And then ended up producing herself.
Because she's about to get the bag, basically.
Okay.
She's like, I'm making money moves like Cardi B.
Period.
So Kara wants Orlando to get this job with who is it? Brian, was it another
Gumbel's people.
Yeah, Brian Gumbel's people.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and it looks like it's happening,
CDC or something like that. What they say?
I forgot the name of the company, but in deciding that, okay, this is what you are going to do, Orlando, it also helped open up another door for her. And she was like, okay, we can push Garrett out and get me in his spot, which I thought that was a really wise move.
Strategic. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Kara and everything that she's doing. She always got something up her sleeve. She's just so smart. She gets the job job done. She's a great coach. She's an amazing producer. She thinks on her toes. She gets everything in line. I'm just like, that's my girl. And her hair is always nice.
That's what I was saying. You were commenting on
and
her
these
hair.
blazers.
And these outfits.
These blazers, she killing them.
Oh,
the
wardrobe
outfits are-
department.
The wardrobe is on point.
Right?
No,
For Kara.
Yeah.
You didn't like MJ's outfit?
I like MJ's dress.
She okay. I like that romper in the beginning.
I like that red dress too.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
I didn't like that red dress.
No,
I didn't
thought
like
it was
it.
cute with the cutout in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of wardrobe, you know, Miss Gabrielle Union has a clothing line coming out with New York and Company. So
Shut the front door.
Yes, she does.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
She recently had a launch in New York, so she too is making some money moving.
Okay.
She looks
Gabby.
very Ann Taylor, New York company.
Yeah, right. Expanding her brand. I was like, okay,
She's
it's
very
it
New
makes
York.
sense.
Exactly.
Nice.
What was funny also about speaking of New York, you know, Niecy went to New York and her experience was very different than Helen and Paul's New York experience.
Oh my gosh.
But when Paul got on that stage and he was talking about that recipe and he had that heartfelt story about his wife,
You know,
it
I
gave
just
me hope
I just wanted to
It
find
gave
out.
you what hope for what?
that they, you know, this whole talk about divorce was just gonna
Good night.
Nope.
fall
No.
away.
I called
I
last
knew it was an
week.
act. It was not genuine.
I don't think it was an act.
Just like them flowers from Justin, it wasn't genuine.
No, I thought it was
very
genuine.
genuine.
You drinking some haterade today. No, I thought it was genuine, but at the same time, I just felt like, stop being a pansy. Like, your
Wait,
wife.
who are you talking about?
Talking about Paul.
Paul,
I
okay.
just feel like this woman does not want to be with you, and it's just stop
I know.
milking it
After a
on
certain amount
air.
of time, it's
Yeah, because now it's just like you look like a pushover, and that's why she's been pushing over you for years. So
Right.
just hang it up. Talk about
Yeah, that's
put
what
on-
gave her that edge to like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go apologize. We're gonna
Yeah.
make this all right because he over there talking about me. Good night. It was an act.
And that's
Well,
what
also-
MJ said too.
But on air, like, he's also there with his daughter. Like, no one else knows the backstory. So it's like to have a good moment for his daughter's show. I mean, I do think obviously it was sincere. We all know he loves Helen, but after a certain amount of time, it's like, you know, she doesn't love you back. So
Right? Don't even do it. Don't even waste your breath. You made that. You made all them ribs. You made all that barbecue sauce. You did it yourself. I don't care what she snuck in the kitchen and did. You did that. You on the kitchen. You cooking it. You did it.
I just don't
Forget
understand why the producers didn't separate them in their own briefing rooms. Like, I would have never had to, if I were MJ and I know that they're going through
Why
marital
would-
problems, because
But
why
why
would-
she wouldn't want the whole production team in her business?
no,
so-
but just have them separated because maybe she's not, like, make up something. Like, you can say, like, for instance, when Kara was like, oh, well, you know, she's feeling a little, you know, TV shy. She wants to,
Nervous, uh-huh.
like, a producer will make up a reason why. And honestly, I feel like the production team's going to be like, okay, girl, whatever. Like, this is our only segment, so if they need separate rooms, maybe she's not feeling that well or whatever.
But you know what it was? There was so like I have so many notes from this episode, and I think that scene of just prepping mom and dad would have kind of just been a waste of time. I think like just I don't know what we would have really gotten from that. Like what did you want to see in that scene?
I just felt like I'm just saying for the sake of them having the argument and Helen throwing a mug against the wall at my workplace, I would have had them if I'm sure MJ probably wasn't thinking about it because she's prepping in her own way, but
Right.
I would have had them separated in another room. I wouldn't have had them together because I know that the issues that they're having are fresh.
Right.
So they're probably going to get into an argument. So for my own sake and theirs, let's just have them separate, do the segment.
and wait till they
Boom.
get on camera
isn't
to
it-
talk.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't it better to have them have her throw the mug in the green room than to get on camera and then who knows?
Oh, well, I don't think Mama Helen would have done that to her daughter on her show personally because that's why she threw it because she was behind closed doors.
She was
Maybe,
also
but I mean-
in the office, in the studio.
No,
Right.
I mean, she's stupid for
In the
doing
office.
that. But I mean, like, I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
I were thinking, I would have been like, okay, well, I don't have time to have these issues on air. Let's
Right.
just separate them because I know, like, for instance, when they came into it together,
Yeah.
they were like, let's just do this, let's wrap it up, have a good time, and let's do this for our daughter.
Yeah.
They had that sentiment until they got together.
Got
Yeah.
it.
And they were left alone.
Yeah.
But
So,
I feel like MJ wasn't reacting. It's like I thought she was
Appropriately?
Well, I just thought her reaction was going to be more dramatic. And
Yeah.
yes.
so when she finds out her mother has been having this affair, that her brother is her half brother, you know, her reaction was more reserved than I expected
Right.
to.
It was.
And maybe it was because, like, why do you think that is? Do you think she was prepping for the episode? Or?
I think it's partially due
She
to that,
fed
but
up.
I think it's because she had already been going through that since she was a child, which we saw that in the
Right.
past in her flashback. I feel like she's probably already mentally been there for her or with that, so I feel like maybe she's just like she's exhausted, so she's just over it already.
And maybe
I
now
feel
it's all
that.
making sense too. Like you see your parents, you're listening under the door, you're picking up these, call and hang-ups.
Right.
And now
Now
it's finally all coming together.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
And
she did say she had an epiphany.
Right. And maybe she also was probably taking note for herself too, which is the conversation that they led to with her and Helen, where she was like, oh, it all makes sense. Maybe she was just thinking about that all at the same time, like, wow, maybe this is my issue.
And we know MJ always makes it about herself. So she was like, okay, how is this going to affect me? How did I do this? Because that's what she did. She blamed herself and felt like her mother's actions were because of her.
Hereditary.
But I love how Kara once again told her the truth about herself. Like, how are you gonna make this your parents' issue all about you? Like, calm down, take a step back.
Yeah.
Yes, you have your issues, but you're both grown, and like
you can solve your own problems.
Yeah,
it's like
you still made your decisions to sabotage your relationships. Like, yes, your mom did it too. Like, her whole marriage basically was just her settling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but.
But I do believe in what you mentioned, the generational curse of somebody, like pretty much energy just going out into your kids because you've had that stored up for so long.
Right.
But I also do feel like you can make the executive decision to say, I don't want to do this, or I want to stop this cycle.
Right. And that's what MJ said. She said, we are not our parents. And when she was talking to her brother, she was like, we are not our parents, and we can choose to break this when we want to, which I thought that was a big, like, taking responsibility for her actions.
Yes.
And her mother took her responsibility for her actions.
Finally.
Because you control your own situation. Your situation is in the power of your own hands.
That's right. But when she said to her husband, she was like, look, the first 10 years, look, I didn't treat you right. And he was like, thank you for finally saying that. And that gave them both the opportunity to move on. But the fact that he still want to go through with this divorce.
Thank you.
Look, I'm shocked. Okay. I was like,
shocked, really?
yes. I was like, okay, he's going to give her one more chance.
No.
I did not expect them to go home together and everything be all peachy.
Yeah.
I knew that little sorry that she was going to give was going to make him feel all heartwarmed. But he got to stand his ground. He got to be the man that he is. First of all, you played me for 10 years. You played me for 10 years. And then 44 years later, you cheat on me. And it's just like, I can't do it no more. I'm never going to be enough for you. You're never going to be in love with me how you are in love with him. So whatever, Chuck the Deuces, I'm out.
Cancel.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
But what I was surprised with, honestly, was that even after Paul said, nope, still want to divorce you, Helen still decided, I want to be with myself. Like, she doesn't want to go to New Orleans.
She needs some her time.
Some me time. She's going to take some time.
She's reclaiming her time.
She needed reclaim her time.
Reclaiming my time. Exactly.
Well, she's been reclaiming her time for years.
Look.
Good night.
Look, Helen knew. She said, listen, I know what I did was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I was with, she was thoughting it up. Mm-hmm. She accepted that. Now, speaking of thoughting it up, Frank chose to get another woman
but first of all,
to heal himself.
Okay. And it sounded like a young tender too. I was like, it was okay. She sounded like she was a young thing.
And he fell off the wagon too, though.
No, what do you mean?
Why did Patrick be like, do you need to tell your sponsor? I thought he
no, but he said
you thought he was drinking.
I thought he smelled like alcohol.
No, he said that the program works if you work it. That was his response.
And maybe that's his new addiction is just getting
sex can be
new
an addiction.
tenders.
Right, sex can be an addiction too.
I
maybe
agree
that's
with
his
that
new thing. So you know how it is. Look, he had his heart broken. The love of his life is no longer gonna. He had to come to terms with. Listen, this woman is no longer gonna be part of my life. I need somebody to make me feel better. What do they say?
That was fast though.
But look, they say the best way to get over someone is to get under somebody else.
But see, that's just toxic to yourself.
I'm not saying it's right, ladies. I'm just making an observation.
No, I mean, I feel like if you don't plan on being with someone long term afterwards, or like investing real time with another person, then sure, like have like a cuddy buddy or like somebody that you want to be intimate with. But at the same time, I just feel
that's like putting Neosporin on a wound you ain't clean.
Yes. Ooh, come on. That's
nasty.
All right. No, it is. and it never heals fully.
You get infected.
Yeah, and you never give yourself enough time to be able to love. One, you can't love the next person well enough if you're not loving yourself first.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like give yourself time and explain that to the next person if you do feel like you're getting to that point where you're really, really heavily involved. Just say, look, I need some time, and we can work it out, and it'll be fine.
But maybe Frank is not there yet. Like Helen, she said, okay, I'm going to take time. But Frank, he needs instant gratification. And we did talk about how guys are more sensitive than we think they are. So this is his way of healing momentarily.
Yeah, because that was deep. Like what he said was, I got to die knowing what it feels like to not ever be with her,
That's hard.
And it's just like, he's thinking about, he ain't got that many years left, and he wanted the woman in his life, and she don't want him.
But think about it. Okay, like, you, in your mind, held out to this hope that I'm going to get this woman back.
Exactly.
We're going to have this beautiful life together. Like, that image that he had is crumbling. Then you find out you got a child that you ain't raised as a grown man that, like, it's kind of like...
By the woman you love.
Exactly. Their love child. You know, he finally finds out about their love child, and he's not going to be able to be a part of this person's life.
Helen, it's just not working out for Helen. We just really laying it out, and I just think of Helen like...
Her reclaiming this time, it is going to work out for her. She going to have her some me time. She going to get in her word, hopefully. She going to get on them knees and pray to the Lord, hopefully. And she going to get her life together because she too grown to be doing what she doing.
Well, she grown. I can't make jokes.
Okay. She got to go get her life together.
That's what she's doing. So hopefully some of her prayers goes to her daughter MJ, who had this fertility issue and had to decide what to do with these 2 eggs she had left. So her options were to donate, dispose, and what was the other thing?
Give it to another couple.
Give it to.
Donate, dispose.
To another. Throw it away. I couldn't remember the third.
It was a third option.
No, it was just
research.
It was just 2 options with the embryo. She either had to donate it or had to dispose it. But either way it goes, she gets to keep her eggs if she wants to.
I think that was keep it for yourself, dispose it, or donate it to somebody.
She couldn't keep the embryo, but she could take the eggs out.
Right. So Lee didn't show up to this appointment.
Leave it.
Did she expect Lee?
Yeah. And then he signed the papers for her to dispose of
course,
the embryos. That's harsh. He's like, I don't even want your babies.
But I mean,
no,
you don't want me.
Why would he? That'd be so messy.
I mean, maybe he was gonna just, say, hey, I know this is what you want. This is my parting gift.
No,
to
have a child just out
2
there?
years ago. I just feel like, I don't understand. I understand why she cried in that moment because she was like, I'm getting older. I'm not going to be able to have kids.
Right.
But at the same time, did you really? Were you really surprised that Lee said, no, I don't want kids anymore?
She wasn't surprised. It wasn't about Lee. It was about her in that moment realizing that I got to dispose of some kids that I was freezing.
And it's disposing of the
like,
hope of...
them her kids.
Like the whole embryos.
Embryos. Barely.
Kids.
Barely.
She gotta take out them kids she was saving up.
Child,
okay.
They didn't have a face.
She was sad.
Like, I flushed her grandchildren down. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Dramatic.
Right.
So, but then she opted for the sperm donor option. So here it is. You had the option.
Backup.
But you had somebody you knew before. Now you just going for whatever you're gonna pick out of a book.
Desperate times, girl.
Let's not talk about it like that because women pay for that.
No, that's what I'm saying. But this is what she chose to do, which is that's kind of gangster because you're like, look, I just need to get it done any way I can by any means necessary.
Yeah, she's adamant about being being a mom.
Mm-hmm. So that last week I was like, I don't know if she should be a mom, but this week I was like, okay, I see how serious and how important it is for her. Whether or not it's the best decision, but she really wants it. So I really like seeing that. No.
I would hope that any person who wants children will be a good mom. So I would have high spirits for her to be a great mom.
We have a live chat situation. Estella Macadocious.
Not why. Okay, so Estella Macadocious, why her old ass cheating? That's what I want to know.
I want to know that too. Ask it for me.
Estella, I don't think there's an age limit.
Yeah, she said MJ needs to donate. She'll be a horrible mother. She's a mess. I need MJ to be honest with herself before she bring a mini her to the world. She just not being real to herself. You're right, and retweet everything that you just said.
Wow.
Because I feel like that because in a sense Helen is a bad mom.
Those some harsh words.
Yes.
I'm sorry. She's not like you literally just
about that.
You destroyed your entire family with one thing. Just
but
not
let's think about it. When this happened, Helen didn't have a family. It was just Helen and this man that she was in love with who was an alcoholic and
her
on drugs.
pregnant belly.
Right. So think about a young woman by herself in a small town. She know people gonna talk about her. She doesn't have many options. What do?
And she has Paul, who she said, I knew he fancied me, so this man loves you.
She was thinking of. She was doing damage control. She was like,
for her baby. She was thinking,
right.
But tell your baby this ain't your father. Just go straight out and say,
be honest.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
This is not your father, but whenever you are ready to meet your father, we can make that happen. That's all you have to say. But you want to wait years later?
But think about that. Like same thing with adopted kids. It's like, okay, at what point do I tell him? He's already known this man as his dad. He's in school. Okay, he's in kindergarten. Okay, don't want to mess him up. Don't want to shock him too much. This is what I'm thinking Helen is thinking. Like, at what point do I say something that's going to possibly destroy my child's life?
But if you say it from the beginning, it can't destroy them.
We don't know.
And I feel like, honestly,
because when you tell in the beginning, like 5 years old?
I would say maybe I agree that can put a damper on a child's life, and that's going to be in the back of their head when they're going through school and stuff like that. But whenever Frank was ready, I mean, I'm sure Frank would have made an effort to come see his son. I mean, he seemed like he was very happy about it when she let him know. So, I mean, he was on drugs at a certain point, so obviously he wasn't good at that time. And I'm sure she could have explained that, like, hey, right now your dad's not in the greatest place, but we will make sure to have you meet your dad.
Y'all know Helen Bougie. She's all about keeping up appearances and making things look good on the outside. And think about it, if she didn't tell Patrick and she didn't tell Frank. It's not like Frank knew all these years either. So she and Paul Sr. were just the two holding this information to each other. So it just made me think of like a teenage mother. Like, what do? You just trying to fix the situation, come out looking not looking like a slore, and try to create some type of family for the child that you're about to have.
But which one is the worst evil? Not telling my son that he has a father, but lying and saying that this is your father.
At least he had a daddy, because some kids don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
True.
But opposed to saying, okay, this is your dad, and you're still not going to meet him, because regardless, with either situation, you weren't going to meet your dad immediately. But I'd rather at least as opposed to now I have a grandchild by you, but you still don't know who your dad is. And Niecy doesn't know. None of the family knows. Like, to me, that's more tumultuous to a family than it is to just be honest and just straight up say it. And then we can deal whatever happens later.
I just think honesty is best policy, because you never know when the truth will come out. Like, you're just hoping that they will just never find out. But then, Patrick is 40-something years old.
Right. I'm not saying that she did the right thing. I'm just trying to be in her mindset.
Right.
What was her thought process?
Yeah.
Why would she do it?
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's it. Okay.
But Estrella, honestly, people just be cheating. no matter how
no age
clearly,
limit.
Right. No matter how old they are, they just
Right.
But I wanted to talk about just the dynamic of her not being with the man that she really loved, because I think that's something
sad.
Fireworks versus the steady burn. That's what she's called.
Yes.
What do y'all
And
think?
I don't really understand that, because it's like, love is love. What do you mean fireworks or a steady burn? Which one are you in love with? Are you in love with Paul or not? Were you ever in love with him, or did you just love him? Because if I will explain what she's talking about. I would say that she always loved Paul, whatever, but she's always been in love with Frank. That's what I say. That's what I think she means by that. But saying that she's in love with both of them, that's not true.
Well, what were you going to say? Because I think there's different interpretations. That's your take. What was
your
take?
I think Frank is her spark. That's the person that just, that's her soulmate. Mm-hmm. That is her soulmate. Whereas Paul,
their souls ain't made it.
But they are, in a sense of, like, for years, they've been connected, and they've always, no matter who he slept with, no matter who she slept with, it's, when they see each other,
like
it's a wrap. Yeah.
It's a soul tie. Not a soulmate. No. Because her soulmate is the person she married to.
No.
Okay, that ain't true. You're right.
Because that's why divorce happens.
You're right.
All the time.
So,
they about to get a divorce.
Yeah,
you're right.
Praise God. But no, I just feel like, with Frank was her soulmate. That was her end all be all. That's my boo thing, my bae, my Alicia Keys, and Nelly versus Kelly in that video. Like that was that moment for them. Whereas Paul just kept her satisfied. He was financially stable. He stepped up for the child, and even she fell in love with him by default.
I feel so bad for him.
I do too, because he's so in love with her, and that's his soulmate, but she's not hers.
So Frank was Helen's fireworks, and then Helen was Paul's fireworks.
Right.
Yes. So that's the thing. I think when we saw him talk about the sauce, the way he talks about Helen, he knew he was taking all the BS that she was throwing at him, but he just kept on loving her, continued to love her in spite of everything she did to him, and he just got fed up now. But it took him 40 years to get fed up.
But honestly, part of me doesn't really feel sorry for him, because it's been like this from the beginning. Like, he saw that she was with his best friend. They were together. She was in love with him. His friend left. She was pregnant. She decided, he knew that she was pregnant.
But she did say, when I got married to you, I was deeply in love with you then. So it's
I feel like
she
he was
tried.
probably, because remember, she said, she's like, I knew he fancied me. He probably loved her the whole time.
Yeah.
But she's with his friend, and then she decides, like, okay, yeah, we'll be with you. Frank's gone. Like, he knew that he was second fiddle. But I think he just held up this hope the whole time that, like, that maybe Frank's change. Gone. Like, I'm here. Like, I can be her one.
I can make her love me.
Yeah.
That's what what Paul been trying to do. Make her love him with that barbecue sauce.
Well, I don't think it was I don't think it was as much as making her love me, but I think it was just him showing what love really is. I feel sorry for him because he still continued to try. Like, love is patient, kind. It never fails. It never keeps record of wrongdoing. It's unconditional. He showed what love really was, and for her to just slap that back in his face, like, all these years I have been showing you that I can love you unconditionally, no matter what you do, no matter what you say. I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to be patient with you, and I'm still going to be kind to you, and I'm still going to give you my all and raise your children and provide for you and take care of you when you're sick, till death do us part. But then you keep throwing that in my face with somebody else, So that's why I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, but we see that with women all the time. Usually the shoe is on the other foot, and it's the women that are doing that are, men. Look, Miss Gabrielle Union, her husband did have an outside baby in their relationship, and she still said, you know what, we still in this together. Right. I'm gonna push through.
I'm sorry?
Dwayne Wade has a child. When they had a breakup, he had a child with somebody else. Ludacris did the same thing while and his girlfriend had a breakup. Know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Girl,
is this?
Yeah, it's real life. And so
it's real life, girl.
Now with Ludacris, I will say,
oh my God, Gabby, I'm sorry, girl. I thought it was all that.
Take a minute.
Did I know all that?
But we see this in real life. It's usually the women that say, "Okay, I'm gonna accept."
They have no baby on me.
We're giving Porchia a minute to process this information right now.
This 7-year-old information.
So we see the women taking this happens to women all the time. Are we being a little soft because it's a guy? Like, we hate to see men cry, like, because it's a guy.
No, I'm not being soft.
No. I mean,
if it was a woman in the same situation, I'd be feeling sorry for her too, for showing that love and everything. But right now we're talking about Paul because he's going through it.
Well, no, exactly. I'm being equally hard on Helen because I think for lack of better words, to refer to her as in her.
Helen is trifling. Okay.
Helen, you are.
She ain't right.
Helen knows she ain't right.
Yeah.
She ain't right.
She finally admitted to it.
And she did admit to it. What I did want to say back to what you were talking about, I feel like these people have been alive a lot longer than we have. And so every relationship is different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Her love for Frank is different than the type of love that she had for Paul.
Yes.
And so that's why she was trying to figure it out. I think, when one ended, she was like, okay, let me just bounce back and get into this thing. I got this baby. I got to keep it moving. I don't want to be a single parent,
Mm-hmm.
So to say that, she didn't love him, maybe she loved him in her own way, not the way he wanted her to. And it was the way she could at that time. Because maybe she never even, if she's taken time now at 60 something years old to herself to grow, that means she was very immature back then and wasn't making smart, mature
I think
decisions.
she wishes she could mold the two together.
Right.
Yeah.
She would
Paul
have
and Frank.
Yeah. I think she wishes that because who wants
Frank
to
has
date a
all
drug
his
addict?
flaws, right?
Right.
And
in
Paul,
reality,
you can't force the spark. You can't create it. Like, that's just something you can't control.
Yeah.
And so as much as
you want to fake it,
right? It's like I can't.
Yeah. Question.
Y'all left me in the Gabrielle Union comment.
Girl, you gotta Google.
We gonna let you process it, and Ludacris too. But Patrick said, "Mom thinks rules don't apply to her." Now, Yeah, he said that to MJ. He was like, "Mom thinks rules don't apply to her." And I think, did you notice how Helen was kind of going through every day, like everything was normal to her. Like, she just kept on pushing. She was like, "Okay, let's pack these bags. Let's go to New York. Let's do this show. We have to, keep up a good face for our daughter." I think she's so used to
pushing it away.
And
but
hiding.
I think what it is just like she told MJ, I admire, basically the fight in you that you have to have all of these situations happen to you and you keep pushing. And I think she tries to take that out of her daughter and say, all right, I'm just going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep on doing it. But now she's taking it to an extreme where she's acting like it never even happened.
Right.
Like, now you bamboozling you and yourself. Like, it ain't right.
I think parents have to do that for their kids.
Right.
I think that they, because I know for me, I see my parents argue, but they would never involve me in what the actual issue was.
Right.
So it keeps your children safe in the sense of okay, yeah, we have issues, but you guys don't need to worry yourselves about that because it's just not important. You have your own lives and we have ours. So just focus on you. But I mean it's unfortunately I feel like that power is always put on the mom because the mom is just the focal point of the home. So, and she's the nurturer for the children. So I feel like with her, she just feels like she has to do that in order to stay strong for not only her family, but for herself too.
Right. And think about it. You have 3 kids. She had Patrick, then she had MJ, then she had Paul Jr. I mean, you have day-to-day activities. You got to feed these kids, clothe these kids, you know, buy them food, take them to school. So you don't really have time to focus on anything that's going to prevent you from doing those day-to-day activities. Yeah. My question to you guys is, do you think Helen loves herself? Like, you know how they say you got to love yourself first before you can love anybody else? Do you think Helen loves herself?
Clearly, because she's doing whatever she feel like doing.
Good night, Rocky.
She doesn't think about anyone else the same way with MJ.
Right. Selfish.
It's the same. Yeah, she's like,
She's definitely selfish.
Yeah, she's like, I don't care. I want to do whatever I want. And that's why she was so quick to, I'm going to New Orleans.
She was ready to go to New Orleans.
Ready. Bags packed.
No, she wasn't.
Paul didn't have to pack her bag. She said bags packed. Okay.
I think Helen loves hesitated.
Helen is she's just one of those people who just, like MJ, she's never going to be wrong.
I don't think she loves herself.
No?
I think
Why?
No. I feel like if she loved herself, she wouldn't be putting herself through these type of predicaments. She would have more respect for the type of woman she is, the type of man that she deserves. She would have more respect for love that's coming her way. Like, if you love yourself, you're going to treat yourself like you love yourself. And her actions have not been treating herself like she loves herself. It has been treating herself like she feels like she's dirt. Like, basically, because that's what a woman does, who feel like they're nothing. They gotta try to solve it with all this other stuff.
And MJ kind of does the same thing too. Yeah. That's why she's been in all these like messy relationships where she's like, okay, just tell me you love me. Just, you know,
yeah.
She had the Cuddy Buddies. She had the craziness with David. Oh, she had Omari Hardwick.
But when you need men to love you and light your fire and be your backbone for everything, then you clearly don't love yourself. You clearly not in tune with yourself. You clearly don't know who you are and the value that you hold, because you're really a prized possession. And if you don't carry yourself that way, then you end up in situations like this.
What do you think, Rocky?
I slightly disagree. I feel like, so do you equate a woman who has multiple partners or multiple just adventures with men as someone who doesn't love themselves?
No, she doesn't know her worth.
I think it depends. It depends on where she is in her journey, because as a woman, you can, like, MJ is a sexual being, right? Yeah. But it's not the sex part that really makes me feel that way. It's more the meat of the relationship, the fact that these relationships
the
really
love
don't
she's
stick.
trying to pull from people.
Yeah. So in the sense of like right. I mean,
because a woman who has sex with other people, she just doesn't know her worth. She just doesn't know the value of what she's giving away. Like, she's casting her pearls before swine.
Sometimes the lady just wants to have sex, child.
Okay.
It can be that.
And I've been there before. I've suffered with promiscuity, and I know how that feels. You don't know your worth. Like, I did it because I didn't know how much I was worth. Now that I know that, I'm not just giving it away to anybody.
Maybe that's how you felt, but there are other women who can do it.
Yeah, and they're fine. And they go and they're like, I'm sleeping great.
And it's something psychologically up under that brain that they haven't even tapped into yet. I promise you, was something wrong with that.
No, not all the time. Not all the time.
Some people just like a good time.
Look,
they don't want a commitment.
Right.
Really don't want a commitment.
And I thought I just liked the good time too. I thought it was all fine and dandy.
But you were younger then. Like, this is like, I think experience, for everybody's experience is different. Because I have some girls, I think we're taught to feel bad when you
women aren't supposed to,
because you're living in a patriarchal world where the man tells you what your worth is and how you should treat yourself. But if you love yourself and you say, look, I want to sleep with Joe tomorrow and Jared the next day,
and it's agreed upon to be safe, you know, we're using protection, you know, this person is not a random person, I think, you know, a lot of women do what you're doing. But if it's a situation where you're in danger, you know, and then at the end of the night you're feeling like you are worth nothing,
or if you're in a domestic situation where you're getting beat up, or like he's verbally abusive or whatever, then that would be a situation where it's like he's harming you. But if you don't feel harmed after the moment, I mean, do what you want to do. Now, it's a difference between someone having sex to feel worthy, as opposed to you having sex because I feel like getting pleasure.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because I mean, in a sense, you're giving yourself away in a lot of different aspects, not just physically when it comes to sex. So I mean, I just feel like a woman is in control of her body. Her body is her temple, and she is her own prized possession. And if she wants to, you know, dibble and dabble into whatever she feels like doing, then I mean that's her. As long as her psyche is cool at the end of the day, then what difference does it make?
They don't call it sexercise for nothing, okay?
I am not about to play with y'all.
I just had a revelation.
Okay.
About this to change.
Make it good, girl. Make it good.
About the kids' names. So, you know, Patrick, and there's Pauletta and Paul Jr. Like Paul was like, these are my kids. I'm gonna name.
Okay, he said, "Look, just in case y'all know,
This is Paul
y'all
Jr.
don't know."
Right. No, Portia brought when we had the predictions, and I said I thought Patrick wasn't his son, and that's what Portia said. She was like, "Oh, that's why Paul Jr. is the youngest kid and not Patrick."
Yeah, but I forgot about her like real name being Pauletta. It's like you have Paul and both your
She
kids.
said about Mary Jane Paul. Girl, that ain't your name.
I just want to shout out Estella for saying Suge Avery cheated on Fine Ass Shaft. Like, why? But wait, because I've been calling her Suge Avery the entire time. Suge, I love Suge. I just imagine. Look, I'm here with you, girl, because I've been calling her Suge the whole time. She ain't Helen to me.
Yeah, she always Suge Avery to me too.
Right, I know, forever and always.
But looking gorgeous.
I know.
I love that
She
gold
does.
outfit she wore to the. Well, she was supposed to be.
It
on
was,
TV.
yes, that was a cute jacket.
Look, I want to read Estella's comment. Her development is arrested. Age didn't get to really know herself before she started her family, which is the reason for most women of her generation. The same for most women of her generation. She's still learning who she is, even in her elder years, and that's
Never too late.
Because there's pressure, especially in that generation, to be this perfect woman. Oh, I'm not a hoe.
They
I'm not
kept
this.
on saying it was a different time back then.
Exactly,
Yes,
and
exactly.
there's so much pressure put on women to be this treasure or this gold, this idol, and it's like, girl, just live your life.
But
Just
look,
do what you want to do.
That pressure, even MJ was putting that pressure on her to be this perfect mom, to be this perfect wife, and to be this perfect woman. And at some point, it had to break. So I guess the marriage broke, and Helen's breaking, and she's like, do you think Helen and Paul Sr. feel free now? Like, woo! Everything's out in the
Probably.
open.
I think Paul is going through it
Yeah.
because he's actually getting a divorce from the woman that he loves. But I think Helen feel real free. She about to go get into him with herself. She about to go love herself and get some reclaimed time. Okay.
But I do think Paul Sr. probably feels some kind of freedom because after all this time, he's like hoping and wishing for her to love him back like he does. And then he's like just finally letting it go. Like,
No, that fool hurt.
Like holding on to this rope after all these years as she's pulling away. And I'm finally like, okay, time.
I think he's free in that sense of just because it's all
The load is
like to
lighter.
finally
The
accept
burden
the
is
fact,
off.
like you will
Right.
never.
Yeah.
But I think he doesn't feel free because his freedom was Helen.
Yeah. Oh, of course, he's still hurt.
I feel
Definitely.
like Helen. I feel like it's something that's I've been thinking about. Like, how much do you reveal to people? And nowadays, people reveal everything. Like, if they have mental illness, they talk about it. If they haven't had an addiction, they talk about it. Helen and Paul come from a different time, but I feel like they're like, finally, we don't have to hide anymore. We don't have to hide anything from our kids. Our kids are grown. Helen's like, y'all all out the house except
Niecy
and Patrick. They still there, but for the most part, everybody's
Patrick went through some
independent.
stuff.
I know.
I thought Patrick moved out
He
too.
did have an
Okay,
apartment.
he was just at the house a lot.
Where's his baby girl at?
Right.
I just thought about that.
She's still at the
His
Jack and Jill
daughter.
meetings.
She with the mom?
Oh yeah, we ain't seen her.
The
But-
mama went back to rehab, didn't she?
See, we ain't seen a lot of people
Right.
this episode. We ain't seen
BJ?
Yeah, where he at? And Lee, how come you ain't come back? So
Lee is not coming back.
I know. I've come to terms.
I mean, there's
with
2
it.
episodes left, so
I
you
know,
know.
I've come to terms with it. Wait, okay. Before we end, so Justin's still in Paris.
Yes.
But he coming back for his
He's
girl.
coming
I thought that was
back.
sweet.
I know.
That's so cute. I'm happy.
But now we have this showdown about to happen between
Justin.
Lee
Kara.
and Kara next week for Garrett's job.
Justin and Kara, not Lee.
Yes,
Word.
sorry.
Lee is
Lee.
on
okay.
my-
Lee
She
is
keep
on
thinking
my
about Lee,
brain.
y'all.
I was like, Justin who? Sorry, I apologize.
Whatever.
But yeah, so this showdown next week. Predictions for next week. Who do you think is gonna get the job?
Kara.
or Lee?
I think it's gonna be
Kara.
or Justin.
Justin. Sorry.
You think it's gonna be Justin?
No, I think it's gonna be Kara.
It gotta be Kara.
I think it's gonna be Kara, and it's yeah, because I feel like with Justin coming back, that's like a good positive thing for their relationship. But then with Kara getting the job, I think it's gonna cause
Man, if
some
it ain't
drama.
Kara, I'd slap MJ.
Yeah. Yes.
Because she ain't right.
Okay.
Kara done had her back. She the reason why she got the
Kara
job.
is
She the
it.
reason why she in New York.
Kara
She
deserves
coached every single body. She produced the greatest stories. Some of that flop ain't right.
And
that
unfortunately-
MJ have to do sometimes.
Some
But
of
she
that-
don't produce that. Look, she don't even produce that. She produced the greatest stories. She coached everybody. She makes sure people are on point.
Right.
She be talking to everybody ear, getting them right, getting all the questions. She is an amazing. She deserves it. She worked her butt off to get there.
She did.
She deserves it. And Justin is just to ride the wave because he wasn't even gonna be there if it wasn't for homegirl hiring him to get back at MJ.
Right.
That's not true.
That is
I'm
true.
Team Justin, y'all.
He would have
I
still
know.
been at
You think
sitting
Justin's gonna
in.
No. Oh, I
he would have
hope
still been there.
I hope Justin doesn't get the position, because between Justin and Kara, I'm Team
Right.
Kara.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like, one, you fired me a long time ago, Justin, so sorry.
Right.
And then two, when it came down to when MJ lied to Kara initially about Justin,
Yeah.
I feel like, if anything, you need to give Kara this job. I don't know why it's coming down to MJ making the decision,
See
but
why.
but then again,
that's stupid.
Yeah, but I mean, she is the head anchor, so I
Right.
mean,
Maybe that's
Well, that means
why.
Aaron has to say too, then, right?
We will see.
oh,
It's not like she's the only one.
I mean,
And
So-
Aaron don't like Justin.
Guys, we gotta wrap it up. But if for me, as a woman who has been a producer, like the fire that you see in Kara when she's getting these stories, Kara got Michelle Obama.
Ew. No,
I
but did
mean-
you see the face that she made when she was like better than Beyonce?
Yes.
And she was like,
Right.
better than Beyonce.
That's the
Look.
only woman better than me.
That's a huge get. So I want to give some shout outs for all the people that commented last week. We had Casey Case, Everyday People 629, Quintessential 2. We had Brown Beauty. We had Anais, Dolores Turner, Janine Davis, and Phoenix Money Penny always. Thank you so much. And Zias Luwap. So thank you so much. And thank you, Estella Macadocious, for being in our live chat
Look, she
today.
didn't even watch the episode yet.
She said, I didn't even watch the episode yet, but I'm living through this interview, y'all. Appreciate you and y'all fly. And y'all
Thank
fly.
you for
Oh, that's
watching.
right. Thank you, girl.
Girl.
We can't fly without you, girl, because you are wings.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Turn up.
So we have 2 more episodes left.
Dang,
I
it's getting down to the
know.
wire.
I know.
Me
But this
and
episode,
you, us never.
Shook.
My
look,
teeth.
hopefully we got some. It's gonna be great. We're gonna go out with a bang, and like I said, we have some guests coming up. So stay tuned. Please continue to watch us. Please continue to comment, like, share, and subscribe to our show. My name is Tsahai. You can find me on social media at Say Hi Tsahai.
And I'm Sarah Lyons. You can find me on Twitter at Sarah Lioness.
Thank you all so much for watching. It's Porchia Carter. Find me on all social media platforms at Porchia Carter.
And I'm Rocky Harris. You can find me on all social media at Raquel Harris TV.
Bye. Good night, everybody.
Bye. See you. Bye.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions or comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Cynthia, Instagram @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.